I love it.
Whoa! Holy shit, Aaron.
Are you happy? Okay.
He's ominous and scary, but
I'm cutting away.
the world seems really wary.
Okay, welcome to the Spark of Madness.
This is Spark of Madness. Every time now.
Welcome.
His daughter's not a fairy. The Thanos family.
Matt, would you introduce us, please?
Matt.
I'm Ben.
Hey, how you doing? I'm not playing along.
Aaron's not playing along. All right.
He's such a stupid idiot.
So this is Spark of Madness podcast. We're doing a rather big new release that just came out. So this is your... Should we just say spoiler from the start? Not even worry about it?
Yeah, sure. We're going to tell you what happens.
Yeah, we're really going to talk about the entire movie. So if you have not seen Avengers Infinity War...
Keep watching anyway.
and would like to hear it through our eyes.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Everybody dies.
Remake Dragonheart.
Half the people die.
Oh.
Right.
Oh.
Wow, you started... Like the people who are like contemplating how long to say anyway, like you
all
spoiled it
seen
immediately. I hope anybody who's like, oh, I just clicked the link, and then the first thing they hear before it comes up, like
Everybody dies.
everybody died.
Everybody dies.
Bam, bam. All right. So Avengers
Neo-
Infinity.
All right, no, my joke's over.
Okay.
I was going to say Neo is Jesus.
So this is 10 years and 18 movies in the making,
I
right?
saw it
Iron
almost
Man.
10 years to the day that I saw Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right.
Great
which
movie.
which our friend Chauncey
Yeah.
met his wife the same day.
We got in like a day early on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they're big Marvel fans. They would, yeah,
They
go listen
marvel
to
at
the
it.
Five-ish Fangirls podcast.
They could stand to dial it back a bit.
Yes.
I love you, Chauncey.
Your only friend.
So, Avengers Infinity War. This was, I guess, how would you describe like this one compared to maybe the other Avengers movies versus maybe even just a standard?
It was busy.
Yeah, a lot going on,
There's a lot
but you
happening.
can tell. I mean, like you had to. I mean, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what else would you do?
It felt much bigger. Much bigger.
It did,
to me.
but also wasn't a big like stupid. It was subdued. It didn't have a big action pack.
Are you kidding?
Well, it did, but it didn't have like the same like it's like it was more about Thanos, which I
yeah.
liked. It didn't have that big, like the same beats, that we've seen all the other Marvel movies.
It was decent pacing. I mean, it went from action, no action.
I wasn't bored.
action. Yeah.
I wasn't bored.
I think I wrote down no pauses. Like it never stopped. There was never like a moment where I didn't feel like at any point a moment was wasted.
Was it
It's
like-
just? Yeah, I mean, it was two and a half hours long. So, and they needed to cover
It
so
was
much
so
stuff.
dense.
Was it like Pringles for you, Matt?
Pringles.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
That's right. Yeah. I had a friend in when growing up who would he had this nasty pinky fingernail, and I would have those like mini Pringles, and he would just come up and go straight down the middle and break them all before I had any of them.
Was it his Coke nail?
Yeah, in sixth grade.
His Princess Leia nail?
Yeah. But yeah, no, but I think that's a good place to start thinking about like just how dense it is and how
There's
much
so much
happens.
going on.
So like we've obviously been exposed to Thanos before and have a vague understanding of who he is and what he wants to do, but this movie
Dives
on
into
top of all of the 25 heroes that are in it, now we're working Thanos in. And they actually did a good job, giving us more developing him a little bit.
and his motives. So, what they decided to do, and I think is the right choice, was, everybody's seen other the other movies with these characters. We've already developed the crap out of these characters. Let's just, have them do stuff that we already know about their past, which is fine for a movie this big. And
Yeah, they didn't need to like
No.
push it anymore.
Let's just develop Thanos' backstory, which is a good idea. You know, and I think like this is the best
Best villain
in any Marvel movie because he's the most interesting and he's
would
very
agree.
complex.
Well, and the thing about him too is that, and this is why I love the Guardians of the Galaxy so much, is that his story is intertwined with theirs, and like it's not just evil hero go, you know, or like, or even if you want to take his 50% like overpopulation, however you want to,
His motive.
yeah, his motive in mind, like they actually brought in a family element. They brought in like a little bit more to it than just this evil creature.
Well, he's not evil. He's a psychopath. Like that's the whole thing. Like he really thinks what he's doing is good, and it's not like, oh god, Justice League, where it's like, I want to destroy the world, you know, which Thanos was, I think, originally in the comics, that kind of character.
He's the dark side of,
yeah,
right?
He couldn't care less about Earth. He just wanted, like, his whole thought process is the greater good.
Yeah, he sees his role as like a responsibility almost.
It's almost like Star Trek 2. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
I wrote that down.
Oh my God!
Yeah, look, right here.
There you go.
Well, that's what I like. I thought that was a really. They didn't. I'm so glad you brought that up because I really want to talk about that. They didn't. Like obviously Thanos' motive is that, like, that's what it is, but it's less about, you don't think of a villain being the needs of the many, like that kind of philosophy as that person's evil by committing genocide or whatever. But they have like a little subtle arc of Captain America and all these other people, all the other heroes being like, we don't trade lives or whatever for Vision, and I felt like that was a good contrast to have.
And then they trade lives.
They did? When?
Doctor Strange did.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Doctor
but-
Strange.
but
But he wasn't with Captain America though.
Yeah,
If he had heard the speech, maybe it would have been different.
Yeah, but I
You're
think,
right.
okay. So let's talk about, since we talked about Doctor Strange. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is going to be not in order. We're not going to try to explain the movie because like you know,
You're going to use the time stone
We'll get
and jump
tongue-tied.
around.
yeah, we're going to use the time jump around
Yeah,
and
yeah.
tell it, you know, because there's no really no
Nothing matters.
like it's Thanos
sure.
gets the rings or gets the stones.
Stones, yeah.
and it's
pretty
He
straightforward.
passes the stones, and it was a long shit.
Yeah.
but
And then the sun comes up.
but
Glad it's over.
Well, just I have to get this out of the way now because I thought it was amazing that they openly called his chin testicles.
Yep.
At one point,
yeah.
they did that
made
in this
fun of
movie.
everybody, so-
That was amazing.
But I liked the way his chin looked.
I thought they
like
did a good
balls.
job. Yeah.
It was like it looked like when I get out of the pool. You know? But
Use butters, balls on
Yeah.
chin.
but Doctor Strange. So like Doctor Strange didn't want to give up the time stone.
Yeah, time stone. Yeah.
He said that at the beginning, but then he did. And before he died, he goes, "It's the only way."
Right.
So
So in between, he had seen 14 million
Yeah.
iterations.
607.
and since they couldn't get the glove out in that iteration, this was so something he did to the time stone is the MacGuffin, you know, of the whole.
You think the time stone is the key?
Yeah, I think something that Doctor Strange did to it. Maybe he put a spell on it. Maybe he did something, or maybe he knew this was the only, you know, like whatever. It could be just me giving to him. It was the only way that we have a chance.
Yeah. I don't know where they're gonna go. I want to talk about that a little bit later, like what we think, like both how the movie ended and where we think it's gonna go. But I don't want to miss the point that, like, as a plot device, and with especially in this context, the idea of like there were 14 million tries and there's only one path forward,
Yeah.
and like that's the one we get to be on. Like I know it's kind of hokey, but it feels like kind of cool and
Yeah.
anticipation. Like
well,
this
if
is
there
it.
was more than one, then it kind of
Yeah,
destroys
there's
the
three.
weight.
It's like, oh, okay.
Well, let's try the others now.
One of them calls for castration.
Yeah.
Let's not do that one.
What if
Not
Doctor
their best chance.
What if Doctor Strange right before he like knows he's gonna die, he goes over and like kicks somebody in the nuts. He's like, it was the only way. It was the only way. Disappear.
yeah. It was the only way.
How did they not think of that?
I have to have sex with your wife, and then this is the only way.
You can't produce any future offspring. It was the only way.
Your son is Thanos too.
So, Aaron, before we move on from what did you think of Thanos?
That's the way he could have done it. Stupid Doctor Strange could have saved the whole movie. He could have gone back in time with his time stone and killed Thanos' mother.
Moving on. What was your question, man?
What did you think of Thanos as a villain?
While I liked him, he had the motivation and all that, but I needed to see a little bit more to make me believe why he believes what he believes so strongly.
I agree with that, but I also feel like this is one of those movies or one of those times where they might get there in the next one.
I believe that.
Or they should have done it in the earlier ones.
You're right,
when we see it. Like Guardians, when we see them, they should have maybe addressed that. You know,
Yeah.
That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
just sprinkle it in, and maybe they could have cut like half the movie out. You know, if they would have sprinkled in throughout.
No, I love that they crammed it all into this.
Yeah, but I wish he would have had
liked
like two or three stones at the beginning because like
He did. He had two.
He had one.
I thought he had two.
He had one at the beginning of the movie.
Which is the one in Guardian of the Galaxy that like
That's right. Yeah.
That
It's a really good level set. I thought that just kick it off that way to see him with one of them, he can beat up the Hulk. Like that's.
The Hulk.
I mean, it's pretty impressive.
The Hulk jobbed so hard in that opening scene. He didn't even put up a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he lost to
It's
Thor.
that low T. That was another great joke. That whole scene was great. Where you
Wouldn't
go
it be
from
G Gamma.
get lost Squidward. I thought that was amazing. And then he goes and Hulk can't Hulk out. He's like, hey, Hulk, hey, what's wrong, low T? And then he's like, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. Like that was like a 1 minute sequence. That was just amazing comedy.
The humor was there in this one. I didn't cringe at the jokes.
No, but the humor was within the situation,
Yeah.
more than out of it. You know what I mean?
So let's talk about it because
Wait.
Yeah.
My last point on Thanos.
oh yeah. Sorry.
I cared about what he did and why he did it. That was important, and he was sympathetic in a way. I liked it.
Also, he was complex. Like,
Yeah.
This is like this. I didn't. You forget the time, like the whole time you're watching CGI. You know, of a CGI.
The facial
character.
capture was
well,
good.
the facial capture was really good.
Really
on
good,
Josh Brolin.
and even
Yeah.
the lighting like was pretty good in parts. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, especially after watching Steppenwolf
It was
and
the Power Stone. The Power Stone was at the start. Sorry. Go ahead.
Good.
even after watching Steppenwolf and
That wasn't great.
Oh
God, that was brutal.
I mean, it was all right.
But it shows you how CGI
Marvel's
can be
doing
done
a little
bad.
bit better.
Well, it show you how like the CGI is done bad. I think the problem with DC compared to Marvel in that realm is like they just change things. Like they don't like they're not planned very well.
Well, like so they made Thanos. They did it in a lot of like subtle filmmaking way. Like you have this huge Hulk, like huge guy, and then he goes up to this little child in a very like sympathetic situation, like where you should feel for. It's like the rescue this stray little girl, but. Oh, by the way, he's the one responsible for it.
Yeah,
and it makes you feel like, oh, this is really
I'm torn.
uncomfortable. But like, he also has that rationality where if you don't think too hard, that you can like kind of see his point.
Well, he's very.
Like, it's one of those. It's like Killmonger from Black Panther. Like it's kind of like that.
But he was very. There's something about him that was like a very much like a Darth Vader. Like it's more complex, and I this is the only reason I love this movie is Pirates of the Caribbean 2. I love Davy Jones as a villain, and Davy Jones is a really complex character. He's not just bad; he's very complex and charismatic. What was I gonna say? It was about it's about that scene with him and Gamora. I thought that was so.
Which one?
When she was a little girl.
Well, there's two, which I thought was awesome. They did that.
The very introduction one.
Okay,
very beginning,
yeah.
The very beginning, and it's like
His mom died.
He's
Her
giving
mom
her that
dies.
dagger, the balance, and like they're going like ready, aim, and he drags her before he sees it because he knows it's not pleasant for a little girl to see this. You know what I mean? But it's for the greater good.
It was a cool,
very powerful.
It was
moment.
cool to see the balance, and then you literally see because he
wants
breaks
the balance.
He breaks up in the shot too. He's the divider between one side and the other, and you just see the left half of people just all fall down and die, and the other half is standing up, and like it's
balance.
such a good
The
His
balance of the
philosophy
blade,
is-
the balance of the
Right. His philosophy is, well, say whatever you want about it, but at least he's always consistent about it.
yeah. He's very driven, just like with this as the way, like this is his responsibility to the universe almost, that he has to do this for it to survive.
He's a zealot.
He
Which is
wasn't
interesting.
even. Did he consider whether or not he would disappear?
Because
the way the
I don't
rules are
know.
set up,
You're
it
right.
might have
It's
been a
just
possibility.
random. Yeah. All I'll say is the whole Red Skull scene where he creates.
So that was Red Skull.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hear Hugo Weaving there.
No,
No,
it was
sounded
it was a different actor.
It sounded a little different, but
0 out of 10.
It sounded like Sam Neill to me, to be honest with you.
that whole scene though was amazing.
Yeah.
I like. Just to have it like she doesn't believe any of it, but he, you see him tearing up and. Like, yeah, I never would have expected that in this movie. Put it that way.
It was cool.
I kind of did though, but to me, I kind of saw that coming. I was like,
What?
I
I
was
mean,
like,
if you're gonna make him sympathetic, you got to do
yeah,
something.
but I was
like
like, he loves her, so she's gonna get thrown in the pit. Like I thought.
Well, yeah, like once you figure out that it has to be a trade, then you realize. But
Yeah,
going
but-
into it, I never would have
they
thought.
give little signals early on in
Yeah.
that scene.
Yeah, but like going into the movie, I never would have thought, okay,
Okay.
he's
We're gonna
gonna, he actually loves his daughter, and like he has to do this sacrifice in order, like, and the only way it'll work is, at least from my perspective, is if the love is real. Like you
Yeah.
have to sacrifice something real.
It was
And
well
so,
done.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Before we move on, what did they say for Red Skull? How did he get here? Man, maybe the people
It was
listening.
very vague.
it was vague. It was
He just
like-
got transported there or something, right?
for his. I don't know. He got transported there by the stones, like the Tesseract stone, which Loki had at the beginning.
That's what I thought. Okay.
You know.
So, all right, we're just gonna jump ahead to some predictions because it's worth it at this point. But
Okay.
like at the very start, the very first scene, I think is the only time they really referenced it. But like the Squidward minion and the other guys were like doing their religious thing that in death you become Thanos' children or whatever. And I literally wrote that down. And then you see Red Skull come back. And like if we're gonna escalate this again one more level, like I feel like in the next movie a lot of these villain characters are gonna come back.
Maybe even some of the good guys as bad guys.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know the source material.
I'm trying to think through like how they will bring some of these characters back, but then I also think they could also bring back characters long forgotten. I think Red Skull was the first one.
I thought about this, and you said hold off on the X-Men thing.
Okay, yeah, let's just go there. Let's
okay,
go there.
So I thought about this. Like since Marvel, since Disney bought Fox, now they own the rights to X-Men, Silver Surfer, and Fantastic Four, which I think it's great that they're gonna like make a Silver Surfer movie. That's gonna be awesome. But I thought, okay, maybe through all this thing, it's gonna create a new reality, and then mutants exist in this reality.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And like
Why not?
maybe that's how they can introduce the X-Men.
Like if I'm I don't know if it's the Russo brothers again, but if I'm Marvel for the next one, no introduction. Wolverine and the Fantastic Four are just there. They just show up and are fighting. Like they're like Captain America goes on this big recruiting thing for like, all right, who's left? Who's left
Well,
to
they-
get people?
they tease
and
me-
they find people like they find
They
them.
tease Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the next. That'll be a next
which is
movie,
interesting.
But
Which is interesting in the X-Men lore. Rogue, the X-Men Rogue, drains Captain Marvel's power, Miss Marvel's power, and that's why she has can fly and super strength. So like. That's a possibility. Like now that they have that right, like that's how Rogue can fly and do stuff like that.
Beatles Blonde is saying that they filmed both parts back to back. So it sounds like they might have even already finished shooting a good chunk of it. So
that is true.
Okay.
Like Superman 2.
So maybe not. But
like Superman 1 and 2.
They also said the purchase hasn't been finalized yet for the Fox.
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Oh,
Cold water dumped.
Darn it! I would have loved it.
I appreciate the info. Like now I can
Either way, the
stop
X-Men are
speculating
coming.
and sounding wrong. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
does that mean we have to have Deadpool in the next one? Oh,
Oh, I hope not. I hope not.
I like
wanna keep him
Deadpool, not here.
Let's talk about maybe something that wasn't so great.
Okay. A lot of the time, I felt like there was a little too much exposition, which is to be expected. I can't get mad at them for it, but it was there.
Well, what places?
Every time that Thor was on screen,
Yeah.
for instance.
Well, okay.
Okay.
You got a nerve for me and Matt now.
I really like just about everything they had with Thor.
I didn't say it was
Me too.
awful.
I liked everything with Thor, but I didn't like one thing. It didn't make sense. It totally negated the last movie of Thor, Ragnarok.
Oh, okay. If you want to talk about negating past movies, I'll go there too.
Well, it's bad. It's bad.
What are you thinking of?
Okay, so the whole time, the whole thing, the whole general story of Thor Ragnarok was that Dumbo did not need his magic feather to fly. All right, he
Exactly.
didn't need it.
Why did he need an axe?
And now he needs one again. That was the whole point. Like, you don't need the hammer. You get the power inside. You the lightning power. Which you still can't defeat Hela anyways. But okay.
Nope, I need it.
And then he needs it, and he almost kills Thanos.
Giant Richard.
Yeah, it was a badass.
Yeah, that was a
scene. I loved it.
Great Dinklage.
Great scene. Like, the whole idea was cool, but like it totally negated the motivation for the last movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then like, oh my god, that hammer like almost killed.
He almost did it.
Yeah, he almost
did
killed,
a good job.
He almost killed Thanos, even with all the gloves. All the stones.
Yeah.
Side note, can I just say my favorite part of this entire movie was using Dinklage as a giant.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was, and he had a good balance of like intense Viking guy, and then also like mixing in like humor to it too. Like,
The Hagrid factor.
I just said that. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. I forget the line.
That was a cool scene. I
Yeah.
liked the whole and I liked
And that he would
Rocket
he
Rocket
had
and him teaming up. I like that.
The Thor. So the thing I'll say about Thor is, well, they did a lot of good.
Thor's become the new like face of Marvel.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
did a really good job with some like him calling him a rabbit the whole time.
and
That was
Tree,
really funny.
And you Tree.
Yeah, and the whole scene where Thor gets introduced to the Guardians, like that whole part was perfect.
Him
to me.
and Peter Quill.
Because Quill is like
Yeah.
trying to compete with him.
Yeah, and he
It's
goes,
so
and he goes,
funny.
and what's his Drax goes
You've
like,
copied my beard.
he's like you are a little heavier, like he does that.
But yeah,
Batista, we got to say how good Batista is.
He
as
is
his
very
character.
good.
Perfect.
Like, he's so
Perfect.
good.
He's good in everything I've seen him in.
Oh yeah, he was
Blade
great.
Runner.
Blade Runner is great.
Blade Runner,
But he's a
yeah.
good actor. He's a good actor.
He can handle it. But the thing I'll say about Thor and Thor Ragnarok is the reboot they did for Thor was good. Like the thing they did to the character.
Yeah.
They made the character
Agreed.
much, 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 much better. But the movie itself, like as you mentioned, it was like kind of okay.
I enjoyed the movie.
was all
I'll
right.
watch it again. But
Yeah.
but and I'm glad they wanted this pace with Thor. I love this Thor. You know what I mean, I like the last Thor too, but this Thor is more hilarious.
Yeah, the thing I thought they did really, really, really well in this movie was obviously Civil War and some of the other one. Like they've set up like kind of where they are.
I like
you-
Civil War.
well, I'll get it. We'll talk about that in a second. But like they set up like where people are and who they've already been paired up with, and then they're like bringing in the new combinations from other movies. And I felt like every single one of those combos was really good, and how they like
And Tony
relate, how they
Stark
can, how they so like Tony Stark with Doctor Strange,
Which
they're
are
both
si-
very like they're kind of
all
very
the same
similar
characters, and like
yeah,
that's like it's like themselves trying to get along with each other in the mirror.
and like Thor. And how much loss he's gone through, and how they directly acknowledge that in the movie about how like, well, I have not. What else do I have to lose? And then he's paired up with Rocket and Quill and Gamora, and like they're this ragtag group of people who have lost everything and just have each other. Like just all of the combos, I felt like were really good, and they gave him at least one, as overstuffed as it was. They gave him at least one scene each to kind of explore it.
And I
for
like
a
how they were
second.
separate, not all together. I like how like they were separate.
It was tough because of how separated they were, because they were like, oh, Iron Man hadn't been on screen for 30 minutes. Okay, let's go back to that one, but
There was a couple
what
of
can you
moments
do?
where I thought to myself after they did like a scene switch, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is happening." That was like a half hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
with
the only,
Spider-Man.
That was the
and,
only
yeah.
problem with the editing. I don't know how you could do it.
I don't know how it could be done
where it's
better.
like okay, they're getting out of the door. All right, now we're cutting to this other part, and then we cut back to they're out of the threshold of the door.
Yeah.
like that should have been quicker. But there's
Yeah.
It's so dense.
I don't want to move past it because Aaron, you just brought it up, but like Civil War, this movie directly acknowledges Civil War. I have the same opinion that you have about what the plot of Thor Ragnarok as Civil War. Like everything in Civil War, who cares? Like it didn't matter. No, nothing.
No, I wouldn't say it didn't matter. I just didn't care.
You don't. What do you think, Ben?
Well, what didn't matter?
So I felt like the two major outcomes of Civil War, and maybe one of them will play through. I don't know yet. But one was the rift between the two groups, I guess, at the end of it. One being the Sokovia Accords and like what it meant and philosophically and like what their responsibilities were. Like in this one, it was just like Don Cheadle's like, yeah, I know I agreed with you, but I don't care anymore. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? We're talking about semantics.
He grew as a person.
Yeah, but I think they realized there was a bigger threat where it shows how stupid
exactly
General Roth is. You know,
We got to do two William Hurt movies in 2 weeks.
Yeah, William Hurt.
Hey,
watch our Dark City from last week.
hey.
But the other being the split, I guess, which I think is still valid between Tony Stark and Captain America, Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And that was kind of driven around the Bucky character, obviously, from killing his parents. Yeah. But I feel like they had a big miss when they made Bucky be one of the people who disappeared. Like that they weren't going to re-confront that. They're still going to, but I think it could be stronger.
Did they leave his arm? I don't remember. Like his arm stayed behind.
No.
See, that would have been great.
His arm went, but the gun fell. I think.
Yeah, his arm stayed.
Just
it's not a party.
Yeah. The other like.
Well, let's. What was the other thing about Civil War?
No, nothing about that. I was just gonna move on to another issue I had.
Well, so let's talk about the deaths.
Okay.
Let's talk about the deaths.
Okay.
I think this can imply to the issue. So they killed Loki off at the very beginning. They killed Gamora. What else? The gatekeeper for like the
and Idris Elba at the start. Yeah.
At the start. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Black Panther's dead.
Well, no. Hold on.
So you're talking about before you get to the 50%.
For the 50%.
Oh.
So
it was just them, I think,
those
were
three,
the main characters.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Which I think they're dead. I think Gamora might be still alive because there's something maybe.
Somebody brought it up today. I forget who. Erica, if you're listening for whatever reason, she brought up that like maybe she's the Soul Stone and could be come back.
Well, he did talk to her at one point. Did you do it? Like, did you like?
Right. Yeah. Like, was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
He was like, I gave up everything.
So it was the ending. So those people were killed. So the ending was really good, and I thought it'd be more stakes. To me, it didn't have a lot of stakes to it because they killed off all these franchises.
Spider-Man's only had one movie.
And Black Panther, who came out with a heck of a movie, and like, wait a minute.
Unless I miss my guess, they're coming back.
They're coming back. But I think if they were strategic and killed off other characters, differently.
Hawkeye.
Well, the people like
Black Widow,
Hawkeye, and Ant-Man.
I can see them if they didn't kill off Black Panther or Spider-Man, which was emotional. I think it would have been like, oh God,
the Spider-Man they had to leave in. That was gut wrenching.
Oh God,
that was really good.
I don't want to go.
That was good.
Niles,
Mr. Stark.
I don't feel so good.
It showed a lot about, and that was good acting by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. killed it in this movie. Like he delivered every single scene. What it called for emotional, like it was. He did a really good job.
I've never known him to not do well though.
That's true. I don't know. This one felt like he carried a lot of like he helped because I went in with a big problem with like the tones of Marvel movies leading into this one. I felt like he did a good job balancing between the two that you needed to.
I felt the weight of the Squidward line.
I thought that villain was cool. He looked cool.
Beatles Blonde said Tom Holland improvised that scene. Wow, holy crap. That's freaking impressive. So I'll push back a little bit on the weight thing with all these deaths.
Well, I left less stakes. Oh, they're all coming back.
I mean,
oh no.
I feel like there's two sides of it. One is that if you feel like this movie has less stakes, then just you're acknowledging the bar that all superhero movies will always hit. Like every single superhero movie always ends with heroes living or like the speculation that they will come back. Like that's just what happens. This one killed off half of them.
That's true, but
and like I know we know they're probably coming back, but
because of the cash cow that it is.
Right.
But do you know why we had this speculation? I forget who did this. Was it what's his name? Who wrote Chronicles? Had this whole YouTube video about the death of Superman, where it's like the death of Superman and resurrecting Superman like led to them killing all, like no superhero really died until the death of Superman. Mm-hmm. And once that happened, like they brought him back. They brought Superman back.
Yeah.
And ever since it happened, like he goes off the list of all the characters that died and came back.
Yeah.
Because Superman did it first,
always,
you know?
Yeah.
And it's like so that's why that happened. Because like any superhero die, they're going to come back.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to come back.
Right.
Here's what I think is going to happen.
Well, before you say that, I just want to say, I actually feel like the stakes are still high. For one, maybe it's not maybe stakes isn't the right word, but we have no idea how they will come back. And there's such like an anticipation for
I will
like
say,
what is going to happen
yeah.
here.
For
Like,
once, I did feel some stakes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other part I'll just say is that
Ribeye.
I think this is a planned two-parter movie, basically,
Yeah.
that has built on so much before it that by doing this, I think it maybe doesn't lull us into a sense of like, okay, everyone lives, but I feel like
It's Empire Strikes Back.
they can yank they're going to yank the people we expected in the next movie in a way that will feel even more impactful because of what they just did. Because now
kill off-
it'll be so obvious now that there won't be a way out because we will have gone through the process of, okay, here's all the stones and what they can do and how they can revive people and whatever. And we're going to kill off all these people. Now we're going to show you in the next movie how we bring them back. But we're also going to explain that, like, let's say the Infinity Stones are gone or something.
Yeah.
Like after that. Now the stakes will be real when somebody dies and you can't rationalize it.
Well-
that like if Tony Stark dies in the next one and gets stabbed, he's dead.
That's one
like
thing
I feel like they're
that's-
setting it up.
That's one thing that's going to
Yeah.
happen. Where the characters like Captain America, Tony Stark, the ones who are kind of living now are probably the ones that are going to, like, majority are going to get it next one, and most of them will come back.
You would think, but like, given who, like
I think
who
rather-
they spared in this one and all this other stuff, like I don't know.
They're not
I don't
killing
know.
off all the Guardians of the Galaxy
Maybe why not? They had their movies. Why do they need them?
because they're cash cows, buddy. Like that's why.
Iron Man. So they're all cash
because
cows.
also there's like it's slated Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like they already
new
have
generation.
They already have like a ton of these in the wheels of the machine.
enough, fair enough.
What's it going to be?
Black Panther 2 in the pipeline?
yeah.
Wait.
There's a Doctor Strange too. Like they're all like all of the ones they killed.
Yeah, but the Raccoon's still alive, right? He's still alive.
Rocket's alive,
Rocket
yeah.
and Groot are alive. No,
No,
Groot's
Groot
dead.
died. Groot
so it's
died.
gonna be.
That was another brutal one.
Yeah,
He dies in every movie he's in.
it's true.
I gotta say that
not in the same group.
when he made the axe, or is it a hammer or an axe?
It's an axe.
It's an axe. Okay, when he made the axe out of his arm, I was just like, "This is perfect.
That's
This
why
is
Groot's
perfect.
here.
Amazing."
He's playing video games. I love it. It's like you speak Groot. It's like, like,
Of course I do.
of course I do.
The last thing, the last bigger thing I would call out as like a issue I had was it felt like Thanos's power and how he wielded the power that he had at his disposal felt very inconsistent.
Yep. He could have done a lot.
Like, why
of
didn't he
stuff
just
sometimes.
wipe out everyone out? You know, yeah.
I think because he was compassionate. I think he didn't. The fact that he didn't kill everybody meant like, oh, this guy.
And they had that scene where he acknowledged directly to Tony Stark, like, I hope they remember you.
I hope they
Like, he has at least some respect for what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah, I like that scene, but that's another bad. I think what Peter Quill did is kind of out of character.
Ooh, I
He
strongly
ruined
disagree.
everything.
But like when you, like,
Yeah, you can get mad at him, but I don't think it was out of character.
yeah, but like they almost had it, you know.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but it was like, I thought that was perfect.
It was completely in character, however.
He's
stupid.
lost everything.
It's like watching
And then
Fraser go on a date.
You hear Gamora's.
Oh, something. He's not gonna. And this isn't.
Wow,
gonna
this
end
is
well.
going too well, Fraser. How
yeah,
you gonna screw it
something's
up?
gonna happen, Fraser.
I
Fragile.
think what they did with the Guardians characters leading up to it, specifically Quill, was awesome. Like
I agree.
that he did that. You
he
know,
loved
after
him.
every single person that has died in his life and that he's lost.
I did
Like we just lost in the last
Yeah.
movie that we just saw. He loses his real dad and his surrogate dad, and then it's like we have each other, and then nope, dead.
I did like Thanos. Like, I like you, boy. He kind of
when he was going to kill her.
yeah.
That was the
Another
scene.
awesome scene. Another
In terms
awesome
of
decision.
bubble.
Yeah.
I like that they got the bubbles in there, because I don't read the comics, but all I remember is playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in the arcades, and Thanos is in that game, and one of his moves is a magic bubble.
That's amazing. They
Well,
had that.
I guess I saw something that's talked about they added like when Thanos turned Drax into like the
I thought they died
illusion,
there.
the illusion stone. Like
Oh, right, when they kind of crumbled.
that
on the
happens in the
ground.
comic. He does
Yeah.
that to the other daughter, Nebula. He unravels her in the comics and stuff too.
Yeah.
So like they added little element to the comics in there. But I think he's an interesting villain. I think his
Yep.
motives are interesting. I think they did a good job of making it all about him. And I think
That's what the movie should be. It's
But-
all about the villain.
Yeah.
I wish all Marvel movies were like this.
Well, and just they did a good job thinking through all the different, both the relationships of all the characters, but like, okay, how can they do this? How are they going to do this? And then it becomes obvious, like, we got to have the stones, or we got to get rid of the stone, like, in order to, and then it adds on this other layer of sacrifice and stuff that, like, had more weight to it, I guess, than, I don't know. Like, it felt bigger to me. That Vision was like, you got to kill me. You have to kill me, or else the world is going to like.
And I like
50% of the universe will
and I like
disappear.
that. I like that they succeeded. Like, oh yeah, he has the time stone.
Yeah.
Like that was cool.
Yeah, that was a good like rug pull.
Can I talk about this? As crazy and awesome as Thanos is, compared to Dormammu in Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
isn't Dormammu a more powerful villain than Thanos? It just seems more powerful because of his cosmic.
Yeah, he has that
craziness.
cosmic like size
He's
to
like-
it. But I
yeah.
think once you start to add all the Infinity Stones, like you can control time and reality.
But it
and
seemed
stuff.
like that Doctor Strange went up a more formidable foe
Yeah.
than Thanos, and could have probably easily beat Thanos compared to knowing his skills. Like it wasn't a big deal, but like I thought Dormammu was a more powerful villain.
The
than
really
Thanos.
smart thing they did though was not that or not that late in the movie. Like he did the time skip for the 14 million tries, and so like it's almost like we have to trust that he found the one way to do it. Right?
It's the perfect
It's the perfect rationalization.
writing room
Yeah.
thing. No, we already tried that.
By the way, we have eagles. And an army that can't be beat.
So I kind of have a strong opinion about Vision and Wanda. What did you guys think of that?
Help me,
Boring.
Vision. Help me, Wanda.
You thought it was boring,
Yeah.
Aaron?
I thought it was fine. Yeah. I thought it was interesting because he's a stone,
He's got
Okay.
stones.
I hated it. I thought it was stupid. I thought this was one of those where it's like they set up so much in all these other movies that played through really well. It was the crux
Why'd
of
you
this
hate
was
it?
Wanda was so powerful and Vision had such a. He was
kinda
so
weak.
he was like the Horcrux. He was the Horcrux. He was the stone, but as you said.
But he was kind of weak.
Yeah, he was. But like
But
they
he's
all
not supposed to be. He's supposed to be like.
They destroyed his main superpower in the first 5 minutes he's on screen.
Yeah.
The
But-
phasing thing.
But they're like the two of them just want to be normal people, and then they're pulled into this, and it just keeps. But we don't. What do we know about them? Why do we care about either of them?
Didn't you see
They-
Avengers 2?
Yeah, it's like here's 30 seconds of them flirting in the kitchen with a microwave. Like it's like okay, great.
But then
so that plays.
would we be
great.
mad that they spent so much time on that in the other movies if they did?
They're trying to humanize him to make it so hard about the stone. Like he's a real boy.
Yeah, they're trying to do that. They tried to do that. The other thing I wrote down too is they tried to work in Gwyneth Paltrow's character, and like they're getting married, and they also want to have a kid.
Somebody
and
getting married.
and then that goes away after like 2 minutes. It's like we never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Like they
Right.
tried to do a couple of those moments where they tried to ground us and humanize the characters. It didn't work.
You're like, stop that. No humans here.
Yeah. What did you think?
Getting human again.
As Aliens fans, what did you think of Spider-Man's Aliens references?
It was all right.
I thought those were great.
I thought it was funny and it worked. It was exactly, they used it. Like,
They did the exact plan.
They used it.
What I was waiting for was Spider-Man to show up and go, "Get away from him, you bitch!"
Yeah. I thought that guy was a cool villain. Like, he looked so cool.
Squidward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was a cool villain. Thought they did him well.
Yeah, he was a cool wizardy.
But he was a good henchman. Like,
Yeah.
he was like perfect.
The other ones,
No,
not so much. But
And
he was good.
I thought the alien species that they let loose were really cool and scary. You know, like
Yeah.
they're so mindless that they're just gonna kill themselves. You know, to
Yeah.
try to get to you. Like they're scary. Like they were like,
Yep.
Yeah.
look at the teeth,
The
look at the bones.
I did like how they had at least some. I don't know. Maybe I don't agree completely with this thought, but the fact that they had the Hulk not be able to become the Hulk
It's a
in
story
this.
arc. He'll be all over the place in the next.
Yeah.
He's gonna have something to do with him and Thanos are gonna square off and like eventually, and he's gonna.
Here's a prediction. I don't know how they'll do it, but I think the fact that Ant-Man wasn't in this one.
Well, because his movie's coming out in a couple months,
Like
July.
I don't know where they'll probably use his ability to go into the dimension or whatever the hell he does. But
The middle dimension.
yeah, however
The
he does
astral
that to
plane.
like convert his form or whatever.
The temporal dimension.
What if they did that with the Hulk to become giant?
Giant
Hulk.
Yeah.
Or Little Hulk. That would even be better. Like
Well-
tiny Hulk.
Yeah. Oh, pinch.
And he's just throwing them around. And
Hulk
it's little-
smash.
That would be.
Stub
That's
your
actually
toe.
better. Yeah.
The thing about the Hulk, as I understand in the comic books, is his power is immeasurable. Like he's probably the most powerful.
It just depends on how angry he is.
Exactly. Like he can get beat up, but like it's immeasurable.
He could destroy a planet if he was mad enough.
He could like he's more formidable than any other like villain.
This is the thing, though. Like, maybe this is a whiff with how they failed with the other Hulk movie. Is we don't he doesn't have a. I get maybe Black Widow. Maybe they'll tease that out in the next one. But like, he doesn't have like a person that. Like, what is going to make him that angry? I guess what would make him that angry beyond just you killed my superhero friends?
Well, this is what I think what might do it. Bruce Banner is making some take-home lasagna and heating it up in the microwave.
with you.
And he, he has it at a set time and he takes it out in the microwave and takes his fork and he puts it in his mouth and it's so hot that it makes him so angry and it'll destroy the whole world.
Yeah.
Making a paradox.
Yeah.
No,
All right, I'll tell you what I want to happen, not what I think will happen.
Okay.
In the comics, they have the concept of the Maestro Hulk, where he's the two minds are able to cooperate. So
like-
it's the
it's
strength
like
of the Hulk with
super ego?
with the intellect of the of Bruce. So that's what I would want to happen.
Can
Yeah,
you have
that's
a British voice?
That'd be cool.
I say Bruce. Vincent Price.
So yeah, that's the only failing of the Hulk is he's not very smart.
Oh yes, this Hulk is super smart.
Yeah.
He's purple.
Any
like
other predictions going forward?
I predict they're going to make a lot of money. They're probably going to beat they've already beaten the opening box office, right?
Yeah.
And so they're probably going to.
I think they
It hasn't
they
opened in
had
China
the,
yet.
They had the it did.
Did it?
Yeah, because
Did it?
it had like it's had the biggest, almost the biggest opening weekend I thought. But
No,
it
it
had the
already beat
biggest.
Star
No,
Wars?
I think opening in China this week. I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Didn't it already hit like 1.2 billion or
It
something?
beat Star Wars opening weekends, Force Awakens. It's gonna make so much money. Disney is so. They're like. I bet they really do have an Uncle Scrooge money bin, like somewhere in, Florida, like in the Disney World property. They should make that. They should make that.
The money pit?
Well, everybody's swimming their money, but you can't take the money out.
Yeah.
So
That would be sad.
do you think they go? Because one thing they didn't do too much in this one is, which I was really appreciative of, and they even incapacitated the Hulk a little bit, was they didn't do another. The only one they did it for was Thor, honestly, but they didn't do like a whole big wave of additional like upgrade everyone.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was nice.
I really like that they didn't do that.
Whoa! Iron Man was upgraded. Spider-Man was upgraded.
They
But
upgraded
not
Spider-Man.
really.
And
Not
Iron
really
Man,
though. Like that was
the
basically
Iron Man
the
one
same
was just mentioned in
versions.
passing.
Yeah, but it was cool. It was a cool.
They looked different, but like in terms of formidability, I don't think it was.
There was no
Maybe
other
it was
plot
implied, but it really wasn't. It didn't really come through.
They
I
gave
see.
Bruce the Hulkbuster armor.
That was cool. I thought that was the cool touch.
Well, it's also interesting in the trailer, which you can see behind me. They show the Hulk.
Totally the wrong
Yeah,
way.
This big blue thing.
the Hulk run. They show the Hulk running in Wakanda, but they obviously that was to lead us astray, and they switched it with the Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't see that. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, here,
You're
watch-
right. They did. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
So
That was clever.
I don't know.
Carry on. I'll be watching.
Okay, here it is. Nope, that's not that part. But yeah, so it's interesting what they do. Like, was the Hulk so afraid of Thanos? Is that why he didn't want to?
He just was butt blasted about getting beaten.
Yeah, but he got beat by Thor in the last movie.
It was barely getting beat.
Oh,
though.
okay, yeah, right. He was.
It was a righteous challenge.
I did like them fighting in the beginning. Like, let's just get it out of the
I
way.
like that they didn't waste any time getting there.
Yeah,
Keep talking. I'm watching the trailer here.
Yeah.
we're all watching.
I mean,
Don't look at it.
This is great for radio.
It's mine.
I feel like they didn't do enough with. So who's left? Let's start there.
Captain America.
Captain America, Iron Man,
Thor,
the Hulk.
The Hulk.
Hulk, Black Widow, right?
Black Widow. Yeah, I think so.
Rocket.
Rocket. Yes. Peter's gone, right? I mean, Quill.
Quill's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the Guardians except for Rocket.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Nebula. Nebula's around.
Yeah, I forgot to count her.
She's so stupid.
She looks like a Dragon Ball Z character. by the
Yeah.
way.
I was about to ask, like, so his gauntlet got broken, but like, did all the stones now that they got used scatter the world? You have to
That's
go find
probably
them
what
again.
happened.
That's true. But no, but they were in there.
Summon
though.
the
They were in there,
dragon.
right? They were still in there.
Yeah,
Because that's how he teleports right now. Like, he didn't have the ability to teleport anywhere
Right.
until he got a certain stone,
Yeah.
certain milestones.
It's good of them to show like, okay, the gauntlet is broken. Like he's gonna have to.
Maybe it just needs polishing.
Yeah.
Get some brass.
Well, he'll
on
probably have to
there.
go back to the
Dinklage.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
No, I will not do that.
I thought he was very formidable. Like, I think the way he looked was perfect. You know what? Like, it just shows you how bad the CGI for Steppenwolf was.
Yeah. Well, it shows you how bad a lot of CGI is, even in Marvel movies. Like sometimes they phone it in on a scene. And
Well, maybe they don't have a lot of time. I think they've had a lot of time to.
Yeah, they're putting.
Well, the
everything
credits
into
are
these.
like, you know, everything. You know, but like
It was like 10 different studios for effects.
Yep.
It was a lot of studios.
the sad part is they don't make any money. You know,
Some.
like the people who make the special effects artists are barely getting by. While some of them go out of business, but
So we've
this
got.
is making so much money. But it's all hinged on these great special.
Here's
effects.
what I think is pretty cool. I know
You
Doctor.
weren't listening to me, Matt.
I know. I know Doctor Strange is smart. I know he's like
Him and Tony.
yeah, but all of the people that they've left alive, other than Captain America, I guess, are like geniuses.
That's good.
That's really interesting to me.
Other
And like
than
Shuri from Black Panther, she's still around. Like they're all they're gonna win through intelligence, almost definitely.
Except for the Hulk.
The Hulk is a genius.
No, not
Well,
when
not
he's
the
the
Hulk.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
What?
Banner.
That goes back into my point.
You know what? Maybe that's the next movie is going to be about. It's going to be about them. Like it's going to show all these guys. All
They're just
working-
gonna look all at camera.
Yeah.
Science.
Yeah, but they'll work together to make the plot, and all of a sudden they realize, science doesn't work. All right, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah. They pinch him, and he saves the day.
Got your finger.
Shows
Got
you-
your wallet.
Shows you brute force wins over everything.
Like
That's a lesson for the kids.
Got your finger, got your wallet.
I think what they're gonna really get, they're gonna struggle.
Why you little?
I think what they're gonna.
Ant-Man's gonna save the whole day. That's
your takeaway?
He's gonna do like
Yeah.
some
Well, and he's a genius. Well, he's not a genius, but yeah.
Hank Pym.
I think they're gonna struggle. Where do you guys think they go with Thanos? Like, because what does he want now? Like, he's accomplished the thing he wanted.
I think he's gonna have like that. Did I do like? I think he's gonna have a more like he's gonna go through a morality like.
Think so?
Yeah, maybe he'll change it. Maybe he'll bring his daughter back, and if he brings his daughter back, is that like not fair? And maybe he just goes through like a existential crisis of his own. You know, because he says that it shows him sitting on the back porch, putting in a little bit, you know, like the banjo,
his iced tea.
Now we're gonna see him like in the bathroom cutting.
but maybe
existential crisis.
But maybe this is not. It's just, like maybe this is not what he wanted. Like it's not fulfilling. It's like Moby. It's like Captain Ahab finally killing the white whale, and like what do you do now, Captain Ahab? That was your whole life to do this, and like he's nothing without the whale being in existence.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think it's actually going to probably be disappointing, but it'll lead into like an epic fight that'll be all worth it. But I think it'll be disappointing in the sense that it'll be all about him defending the stones from them like reversing time to go back to like the moment he did it, and then they'll just play it out from there.
It's also tiresome.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my fear.
I feel like Ant-Man's going to take one of the stones, but he can't. He can't pick it up, can they?
Maybe he could.
The stones?
No, they can't because we saw that in Guardians. Remember?
Yeah.
They can't pick him up.
That's right. He had to
Yeah.
Quill's half god.
Again.
And he barely did.
Guardians is so good.
Yeah.
You know, I think what made this movie good is because it was mostly focused on Guardians.
Yeah.
Because of the relationship with him and Gamora.
And then they pulled in Thor because they recognized, like, okay, yeah, pair him with them, and that's who is interesting.
Okay, so this is kind of off kilter, but since now they're going to get the rights to the Silver Surfer, that's going to be an amazing. And like, think about it. Stan Lee, because the villain in the Silver Surfer is Galactus, right? And Stan Lee was asked, "Who's the most powerful Marvel villain?" And he goes, "Is it Thanos?" He goes, "No, it's Galactus." Think of that, of what they can pull into.
Oh shit!
Well,
yeah.
Well, it's funny because they think Galactus is one of the nowhere planet that they go to with the head. It was the head of a god.
Right.
That's how big Galactus is.
Yeah.
And like he's faced off with one of those things. You mean
they're gonna? Yeah, you're right. They'll end it with that.
But the Silver Surfer is like as a story. Like I always hated when they Fox did it with
that was bad.
But he's such a cool character because he's the herald of Galactus. Like. Now that they have like the space realm, like Silver Surfer, when they introduce him as an entity, is going to be an amazing addition to Marvel.
Forget Galactus. I need some Doctor Doom in my life, man.
Yeah, but you know who kind of looked like Doctor Doom in the movie was Red Skull. He had like a Doctor Doom feel to him.
He had a hood on.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I will say the fact that they made me kind of like Red Skull. That's cool. Like just that they got me to be like not.
They tied up some loose
vomit
ends.
the second I saw him. Makes like that was good.
Well, also you didn't realize that was him from at the first
movie.
minute. Yeah.
I hated that movie.
Oh, I liked it.
The first one, Captain America.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was all right.
Oh, I did not like.
I liked
that
it.
at all.
I loved it.
I
actually.
thought it was fine.
Yuck. You guys suck.
I like Red Skull.
Well,
man.
you hate Rocketeer too, so
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
What are
did.
talking- No, I just did think it was the best movie ever.
no, but
That's Ben for I hate it.
but I liked the stylized version of Captain America.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because they didn't use Hugo Weaving because we've
already spent enough
This movie's
money.
already expensive, so let's get another guy who sounds like him,
But you
Yeah.
can't replace Hugo Weaving.
Mr. Pig.
Well,
Mr. Anderson.
we didn't see like Martin Freeman's character. We didn't see
Valkyrie. What happened to her?
Valkyrie. We didn't see.
Didn't he say that half the Asgardians got away?
Yeah.
So maybe that's where she
never
is.
know.
Yeah. So
Because what's his name? The rock guy from the
right, the Rock guy,
Face off, guys.
Captain Marvel with like the John C. Reilly, Glenn Close.
but they talked about
Space Team or whatever.
But they talked. Well,
Yeah.
that's where the first stone was, right?
Right, yeah.
So did he wipe out that whole thing? You know.
So like, there's a lot of characters left that I think they can pull in interesting ways, but hopefully it crescendos in just everybody doing something.
Obviously,
like,
they're going to
make it-
introduce Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
We'll see what she does.
Oh boy. Someone they should have called earlier.
Captain Marvel. But it wasn't Captain Marvel another character, and Miss Marvel is a different character. Like
As far as I know, they're the same.
Really? Because it wasn't Captain Marvel a guy, and Miss Marvel's.
I've never known Captain Marvel to be a guy.
I'm going to look.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, sure.
Any other thoughts about maybe less about where they could go, but about the movie itself? I feel like we hit a.
As much as I didn't like the Hulk not being around, I understood why they did it, and I feel like it'll pay off in the next movie.
Yep.
That's
I agree with you.
unusually optimistic of me, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Very much so.
I didn't hate this movie. Should we go around and give our ratings now?
Yeah, let me. Sure. I don't think. I will say the only other thing I would add before just like a bigger picture why we will give the ratings what they were.
Okay, he was originally a male character.
Really?
Yeah, and then they switched it to Miss Marvel.
What was that, in the 80s or 90s?
I don't.
Or was it more recent?
I don't know.
Oh.
But 1968, he was.
I learned something.
But here's another thing. There's another Captain Marvel in DC who is Shazam. Shazam character.
Yes.
That's
Shazam's cool.
His name is. Well, his name's not Shazam. His name is Captain Marvel. But Shazam is the password. So
Right.
interesting.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
But it makes more sense for Marvel to have Captain Marvel.
I felt like the
Captain Marvel is really Professor Marvel from Wizard of Oz.
Pay no attention to the man behind the cake.
Yeah, what's one dog to another?
Go on, man.
Nah, I've got nothing.
Sorry.
I've got nothing else. I felt like they did a good job. The only other thing I would add, just on the surface level, is just the action was pretty good. They did a good job of like how they reconfigured all these characters, like Bucky holding up Rocket, shooting people, or the like the three women characters, Black Widow, I forget her name from Black Panther, and then
That other guy.
No, it was three women. It was three women fighting. Maybe the two of them were fighting the female one, but like a lot of those combinations that they had for these fights, and then like Peter Quill like flicking him off as he falls into Doctor Strange's. Like there were a lot of like really good moments like that.
Cool team up.
Those are kind of like the Marvel thing.
You nerdgasm.
Yeah, like Colossus throwing Wolverine. They just they find ways to do those things over and over and over again.
Or Bart Simpson going on Homer Simpson's shoulder in the arcade game and the combo.
Exactly.
Well, you know what's interesting now? I'd be interested to see now that Rocket's on Earth. He runs into another raccoon.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be funny.
That's really good.
That'd be like really funny. Like so this is.
What are you knocking those garbage cans over
He's
for?
like,
Man, not bad.
if you want to make
He's like eating it.
If you want to make it rated X, you're like, you are gorgeous. Hello, gorgeous.
Forget Fritz the cat. It's Fritz the raccoon.
Yeah.
All right, let's go around. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, go.
For as much as I typically dislike this type
How are we rating this?
out of 10,
Out of 10.
Okay.
I think we've evolved to that system now.
Okay, it's not A, B, C, D.
I'm a big proponent. As much as I dislike this type of movie a lot of the time, I felt it was done well. I didn't dislike it. I thought there were lots of good parts. None that were terrible. I would give it a 6 out of 10.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
What was a 7 out of 10, Marvel? Like you give Superman, or you give Batman vs Superman a 7, don't you?
I don't remember what rating I gave that. It wasn't perfect, but I still like it.
You like it better than this, though, don't you?
I had more fun with it.
Well, don't trust his opinion, folks.
My rating is often independent of how much I enjoyed it.
I love you.
I'm very consistent with my rating.
You are, but you did love Black Panther.
I did.
That was a 7,
I didn't
right?
love it. I thought it was good. I probably gave it a 7.
7. So Black Panther was.
It was a
higher.
more cohesive movie. I mean, it had less going on.
What's your favorite Marvel movie? Like that's the highest rating.
We talked about that back when we did Guardians 2. Like I remember we talked about
I
this.
think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 might be my favorite.
2 might be mine.
2 is mine.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Nobody likes nobody likes Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and also people kind of like, they were funny.
I loved it.
Like they kind of
I loved it.
toss them aside.
I thought it was so good. I'll give it an 8. And then the reason I give it an 8 because they developed a really good villain. I was entertained. I want to see it again.
I actually do too.
But maybe not pay for it. Maybe wait till it comes out on Netflix, which I'm still paying for it. But maybe I wouldn't go to the theater to watch it again.
I might.
I don't want to go sit.
So you give it an 8?
maybe a 7.5 or an 8 because
This is a review show. You need to pick one.
because I love villains and because they developed a villain I really liked. You know, what I mean, I love villains more than anybody. I think, and I think
I'm
they
with you.
finally developed a villain that was very on the same par as Darth Vader. Not, I mean, like in terms of interesting, Darth Vader and Davy Jones, which only reason I like Pirates of the Caribbean 2. I think he was interesting. He was complex. And I like. My favorite comic book characters are the big guys, and he was a big villain I liked. You know what I mean? Like I like the big characters. I think that's the only reason. I think I don't care about anybody else but the villain. Like I really didn't care about everything else.
The villain
was good,
needs to be there.
but the villain was so interesting that I loved it.
I can't believe this is happening. That
What?
I'm the one. I
You're
guess
gonna be-
maybe not the
You're
one.
the Stinky Pete.
No. I guess.
What's your problem?
I'm not surprised.
You're out of your box,
I'm not
prospector.
surprised with Aaron's review. Like that's actually pretty good.
6 is a decent rating out of 10.
Oh, mine's a bad rating.
I'm giving this at least a 9 out of 10. At least.
So would you say that that's a grade on a curve then?
How so?
Is it purely based on your enjoyment?
Because then
I'm basing
the Last
this off
Jedi
of-
was amazing.
No, not at all.
I was enjoyed by it.
Not at all. No. This. I'm basing it off of my criteria
Oh,
for
okay.
a very good.
Okay.
Not just personally, but like if I was putting it with The Godfather or whatever, I still would give this a 9 out of 10.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
no, I couldn't do
See,
it.
let me explain my point.
Okay.
It's not a full movie.
When I rate a movie,
I disagree with
I
that,
factor in enjoyment, but I don't let it move the curve of the grade. You know, like if I was to rate this movie based on how much fun I had, I would give it more like a 7 or an 8.
I give it a 9 about fun, but I'm probably an 8 because I was generous.
So
in it.
if you're just saying fun and like fun reaches the score, like what is the thing that is so detrimental that makes it less of a movie to you?
here's
You
the-
just talked forever about
Well,
how
here's the
the villain and the contrast between hero and villain is so good.
and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you the exact reason why. For what this movie has done, you know, and how big it is, you couldn't do it any other way. You couldn't do it any other way.
Yeah, they were in a corner.
They were in a corner. You did it perfectly. What the cards were dealt. However, if you break a movie down into its core, you have to have development from every character.
And you don't think characters developed in this?
No,
Not all of them,
No, because you didn't have
From
can't-
every character?
You
You're saying a classic movie, every single character.
Where's my 4-hour cut?
But I'm saying like we already like so if you we already came in because we knew the development of those characters. Standalone movie, you know what I mean? It's not.
So have we?
about-
So my challenge to that is: have we ever had a movie like this? How about that? Have we ever had a movie that was like this?
Avengers 2.
So out of the 3 movies that, and maybe 4 if you want to go with Justice League, of the 4 movies that have coalesced with a collection of movies into one, where everybody's in the same movie.
I think Marvel.
I feel like this is on a. I'm not grading it on a curve. I'm giving it credit for
Oh, yeah,
being
no.
so like the level of difficulty, as you acknowledged, is so high that
I
this was the only way
remember-
to do it.
I thought
But there's
that a lot
no
of the
other
time.
there's no other movie like it.
There isn't, but I'm talking about as a narrative. As a narrative, it's nowhere close.
As
to
a
being one of the
narrative,
best.
it's fairly basic.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it did a lot. We talked about the needs of the many versus the needs of the few.
No,
It's
what
been
I-
done a million
Yeah.
times.
So has every movie we've reviewed
We're
on this
not
show.
saying it's bad. We just
No.
don't think it's mind-blowing.
That's I don't know.
Matt, I'm so-
you're poking to me. I can't believe I'm the one that's like you guys are
you're
nitpicking.
usually the guy. You're usually the guy. That's what's like bizarre. It's
can't
like,
believe
we don't hate it, Matt. We're just very critical of it. You know what
Like-
I mean,
I want to see it again in
I do.
theaters.
I
it
enjoyed
created a villain that was like
It was good.
it was cosmic. So I'll just give you my rationale because
Okay.
you get
All right.
like
Clearly.
my rationale is
Clearly, you're busting out of the seams there.
it pushed through a tonal thing. The level of difficulty to pull in 18 different movies backstories into one, and they all kind of like feel seamless in a lot of ways, and there's like a lot of tonal changes or whatever. The fact that they did all that is impressive to me, but it also the fact that it felt seamless is a testament to the movie. That at no point am I like trying to remember like, oh, what were they doing, like what was that about. Like I understood where I was at all times.
well, I didn't realize that was Captain Marvel pager at the,
Oh,
at the very end.
Yeah. I also
Oh,
felt
yeah, Captain Marvel.
they also, in addition to having like 48 characters, they made time to develop a character that was a villain character that was the foil that both you could sympathize with, you could hate, you could latch onto as feeling intimidating, you could latch onto as feeling vulnerable.
Because it was a right decision of not like we don't like this is develop his story and forget
Yeah.
about everybody else.
And right, so I loved that they did that. I loved that this villain also introduced an element that both reflects the superhero genre in a way that makes you think about, the needs of the many, needs of the few, but also how you sacrifice and like what it really means to be a hero and like what lengths you'll go to do that. I think they elevated that based from previous movies that we hadn't seen before. I felt like they included stakes in a superhero movie, which we've never seen before. I felt like all the deaths felt very much earned, like that, even though we project what'll happen.
What
come
stakes
back.
that we didn't see in a superhero movie before?
Very few ever have them.
None of them, hardly any have them. And this movie was like, not only are we going to kill some of them, we're going to kill half of them. And then the other thing I would say is this was one of the few superhero movies that left on a true cliffhanger, like that I actually care.
I do care,
and I'm like This feels like a TV show.
Empire
element.
Strikes Back. It's a serial.
Yeah.
Matt, that was a wonderful speech.
Yeah.
I'm not.
In light of your wonderful speech,
And
I
today
have
is our
decided to
Independence Day.
modify my rating.
Yay!
My rating has bumped up to a 7.
No, mine's
give it
still-
a 7.
Mine's still an 8. 8 or 7.5.
The thing I will say is that it's
That's
hard
pretty
to
good rating.
It's hard to grade this though as like, okay, each character has to go on an arc within this story because it's such a unique circumstance with an Avengers collective that these are supposed to be these ensemble movies that build off
It's
of the
never
previous
happened in
ones.
history
But the
of-
thing is that they still took and had an attention to detail from each one's individual movies that their characters felt true to form and that their decisions were like based off of what we had seen before.
Other than Thor's decision to need the hammer.
Yeah.
Need the axe.
True. That's
Quit
true.
nitpicking you.
That's true. But
Well, like, but
But they also-
defeated the whole point of that movie. You know what I mean?
they defeated the point, but in terms of the character, they actually, in my mind, strengthened him by having that little monologue about, well, I have nothing else to lose. Like, to me, that was such a powerful scene, and he's talking to Rocket, who also, feels that way and
He's a
isolated.
loner.
Like, and they added these combinations that
worked.
were just so fresh to me. So, I don't know. I loved it.
I know. I loved it too.
There's a couple we didn't even talk about, like, okay, so was Thanos just waiting for the Guardians to show up to like do his little trap? He was just waiting there the whole time. Like,
We
okay,
represent
you ready?
the Thanos League.
There's a lot of like little stuff, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I loved it. I thought
was
it was
good.
amazing.
Go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recommend
7.5 is an amazing rating for me, or an 8. That's a good rating.
What would you give Rocketeer?
Oh, there's no rating for that.
Yeah, there's not a. It
It's
doesn't,
to the moon.
That's right. That was
There's
that
no
was
scale.
We even clarified
Well,
that was a nostalgic.
But
glasses.
I probably give that an 8 or a 9. 8 or 8.5.
Wow.
Now Harry and the Hendersons. That's a horse of a different color.
It's an 11.
A big hairy 11.
This movie goes to 11.
No. If you're gonna rate it, no, that'd probably be a 7 or
Favorite
an 8.
character in the movie? Go. Somebody.
Thanos.
Favorite.
He's the best.
My gut, without thinking, is Spider-Man.
Okay. I liked Doctor Strange's cape.
Yeah, that was good. It was good. His accent, though, Doctor Strange's accent, is
like
still a little like, what?
Yeah,
What is that?
What is
Yeah.
it?
I like Thanos and his henchman, the wizard one. I liked him.
Yeah, Squidward.
Squidward. All right, I think we've
So
exhausted our resources.
I don't know what movie we're doing next week. We'll have to really think about it. I know Solo's coming soon.
Yeah.
Solo.
But we've got a lot. We've got a
Still
lot.
alive, Matt. Get out of here. Go.
I know we're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We got who knows? I don't know in terms of podcasts, live podcasts, what we're doing in the upcoming future. However, what is Game Sharks doing? You've been doing live.
Are you
ones.
going to be around this week, Ben?
Yes.
We're doing Mario 64.
Mario 64 this week.
What's this week? What does that mean? Friday.
Friday night. It's 7 p.m.
Oh God. You need
That's
to go.
so early in the day.
I know. Let's just do an hour.
It's pretty fun though. It's like to Last week, I was doing a lot of commentary.
Last week was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, that was it was good. If you want like a unique game live stream,
Join us.
Game Sharks Friday.
There's some good jokes to be had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
All right. Let's all do like a 3, 2, 1 snap on the way out. All right, ready? Thanks for listening. 3, 2, 1.